Sort of. I've been doing something for myself that I've always wanted to do for a really, really long time, but was never in a situation to be able to do it for myself. And that is fix my teeth. It's not something I really ever talked about a whole lot before. Or I don't even know if a lot of people ever noticed, but I've always been really, really self-conscious about my teeth because, well, you know, they're crooked and they're also uneven, which I'll get into in a little bit. So because of that, something I just started was Invisalign. This is not a sponsored spot or a brand deal or anything like that. Again, this is something I am just doing for me. So I started up Invisalign. I got them in right now. And I wanted to tell you guys about it for, well, a couple of reasons. Mostly being that while I'm wearing these, they will affect my speech a little bit. And to make them work is that I do have to wear them as much as possible. So because of that, I'm going to probably be wearing these while I'm doing stuff on camera. So while I'm streaming or while I'm recording gameplay videos or whatever, I'm going to have these in. So if I ever sound like I am a little lispy or some of my syllables aren't coming out quite as clear, it's because I got my Invisalign in. This was something that was a bit of a journey that actually started well over a year ago, but could never actually get to until just now. But part of that was it was like when I went to my dentist over a year ago just to do a normal cleaning, and we had talked about how some of my teeth were uneven, and I explained to her, it's like, oh, that's because one of my teeth have like just cracked and chipped off in my mouth, and I don't know why. I didn't hit it or anything. Like the story of that, this was like a decade ago. I was driving down the highway, just, you know, listening to music, windows down. My tongue was like idling in your mouth, you know, as it does. And one of my teeth on the bottom like just chipped off, and I was just like, what the heck? And I had no idea why. And my dentist looked into it, and she kind of explained that was happening because when I sleep, my teeth are uneven, and it makes my bottom teeth scrape against the backside of my top whenever I'm sleeping, like my jaw clenches or whatever, and that was weakening the teeth, and that happened enough that it finally got fractured, and that's what caused it to chip off. And she said, look, you know, one of the things that can fix that would be to straighten up your teeth or get braces. And I explained to her then, it's like, that's something I've actually always wanted to do for myself. I always wanted to get braces and fix my teeth. I could never get it when I was a younger kid in high school or anything like that because my family could not afford it. So I just kind of had to make do with what I got, which wasn't great. But she said, yeah, this is something that we can do. And it was something that I've always wanted to do for myself, which is why, if you remember earlier this year, like way back in January, I had to get my wisdom teeth removed. And that was its own whole ordeal. And I got super sick and I ended up in the hospital from it. I've got a separate vlog video if any of you guys watched that, but that's why. But so we talked about trying to get these Invisalign going, but she basically said, we can't do those until we get the wisdom teeth out. Because if those aren't out, there isn't room to move or adjust any of my teeth to get them straightened out. So that was step one. Step one was getting the wisdom teeth out, which was, again, its whole thing. But now that we got that going, the Invisalign are in. So I'm going to be wearing these for, I believe, about a year, give or take. I think it's a little under a year, a little less than that, but for a while, for sure. And the experience of actually like getting these on was a little more intense than I thought it was going to be. So for those of you who don't know, when you get your Invisalign put in, you have to get like molds made first off. Like you go in the dentist and they basically put like this soft, chewy sponge in your mouth, and there's like, bite it as hard as you can, just get it in there. And they use that to like get a mold of your teeth, and they send that in, and then they get the plastic things made and sent back to you. And then that took a couple of weeks. And then for actually getting them like on, they basically have to put things on your teeth to let the Invisalign like connect onto or set onto. So she was like, when I went in there a few days ago, she was like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for you. We're gonna get this started. You're gonna have some bumps on your teeth. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, haha. Those aren't bumps, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the way they put them on is they basically take like these little bumps that are made of like resin, more or less, and they put them on your tooth. And then they took out this like what looked like a little blacklight rod, and they just like put blacklight on the tooth to like melt the resin and help that attach to your enamel. And at the time, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. You're using a blacklight. All right, fun, wee, haha. And then I realized very quickly that they're not just using the blacklight to light it up. They were using that for heat. So there were times where, as they were getting it on, like I could feel my tooth kind of getting a little bit warmer. I was like, oh, that's an interesting sensation. And then every now and then, like that blacklight would also just hit my gum, and then my gum would start getting like hot, like actually hot, like uncomfortably hot, where I was like, gripping my armrest like, oh, I don't know if that's normal. Ow. I mean, it ended up being fine, but you have a little bit of that panic. And when they were doing the little blacklight thing, they would take like this orange, like looked like a paddle, like an orange paddle, and they would hold it over their vision. And they'd use the blacklight for that to, I don't know, protect their eyes or themselves from heat or whatever. But because of the way that she was holding it, it was reflecting the inside of my mouth onto that panel, and I could see it. So I'm just like laying there with this paddle over my mouth, and she's doing the blacklight thing. I'm just like, seeing my own mouth, and I was like, I can't do that. I'm gonna look at something else. Oh, that dot on the ceiling sure is fascinating. I wonder how long that dot's been there. Does that dot have any dot friends? La la la. For like the whole 45 minutes or whatever long the procedure took. But we got them on there, so I had like these permanent, not semi-permanent bumps on my teeth for the Invisalign to connect to. And again, she called them bumps. These were spikes. These are painful. Actually having the Invisalign in and using them and all that, not a problem. It's really not that uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt that much. I could definitely feel it kind of pulling against my teeth a little bit, just ever so slightly. Like I can feel them adjusting, which is good. Like that's what I wanted. I'm glad for that. But when I take these out to eat or drink or whatever, my lips and my mouth just aren't used to these bumps being there. And again, they're spikes. So anytime I'm eating anything, I feel like I'm stabbing the inside of my own mouth, like with every chew, just ow. It like imagine pinching your lip in between like your top and your bottom teeth. It was like that, just all over the mouth with almost every single bite that I took. That's been the worst part. Again, I think that's something that I'll just get better at as time goes on and my brain starts to realize where these bumps are and how to chew around it or whatever. But that's like the only really uncomfortable part that I don't like about it. Well, aside from like getting these off and on, or getting these off is a little annoying because you have to like start way at the back and pull them down and forward, and they can get stuck on the bumps, and you gotta like really take them down. Plus I don't really have fingernails, so it's harder to get in there. Pop them on, no problem. But getting them off, a little annoying. And again, the pumps on the inside just stabs me. But for anyone who's ever been interested in getting Invisalign, again, I've only just started it, and so far, it's really not that bad. It's the mouth stabs that's the most annoying part. That really isn't as bad as really anything else. Anytime I've ever heard anyone who's had braces, like it always seemed like braces were much worse. These, whatever. I'll be okay. But for the most part, I did just want to let everyone know that, yeah, I have these now. So if you notice them in videos or while on stream or whatever, yep, they're there. And that's just a thing. We'll go on this journey together. And hopefully by this time next year, like whatever I got going on down here, like you can see how uneven my teeth are. Because again, they're just chipped. Hopefully all that would get fixed up. And again, that's just for me. I know a lot of people are like, oh, but you've always had such a good smile, or I've never noticed anything wrong with your teeth. Great, thank you. I really appreciate that. But again, I want this. I'm doing this for me. This isn't a response to other people saying I've got a bad smile or my teeth or janky or whatever. It's just something that I've always disliked about myself and always wanted to do for myself. Plus, it is a little bit of a health thing. Like, if I keep my teeth this way, who knows how much worse the chipping or the fracturing could get over the years. So that's it. I haven't done a vlog kind of update video or whatever in quite some time, and just want to let you know that, yeah, this is what I've got going on. So if you see these, which you barely can, hopefully the lights in the camera helps mask it a little bit too, but yeah, they're gonna be there. But either way, that's all. I appreciate your understanding, and you don't need to make a big deal out of it because it's not a big deal to me. All right, as always, thank you guys so very much for watching. See you next time.